In the heart of the Pacific Ocean, between the beaches of California and the Hawaiian Islands, there's a massive environmental disaster that everyone seems to be ignoring. A vast area of the ocean is completely covered in plastic waste. So much so that some people have started calling it the plastic continent. This giant trash patch isn't just a bit of floating garbage. It's an area that spans over 1.6 million square kilometers. That's more than 3 times the size of France. But how did all this plastic end up in one place? And why does it keep piling up? Before we dive into the plastic continent, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell so you get our videos as soon as they drop. It all started with simple habits we do without even thinking. Every day, we use plastic for pretty much everything. From our morning coffee cup and the bag for our sandwich, to a bottle of water, toothpaste tubes, and toothbrushes. These are things that have become a basic part of our lives. Our reliance on plastic has become an integral part of modern life. But our excessive use of it, and our poor disposal habits, have created a terrible buildup of plastic waste over decades. Can you believe the world throws away 1 trillion plastic bags every year? That number is so huge it works out to about 2 million bags every single minute. And how much of that mind-boggling number gets recycled? Less than 1%. In 2016, people bought about 480 billion plastic bottles, and that number goes up every year. We also toss out around 500 billion plastic cups annually. The disaster isn't just in the numbers, but in the nature of plastic itself. Plastic isn't like paper or wood. It takes hundreds of years to break down. Some types can stick around for up to 1,000 years before they disappear. This means any piece of plastic you used 10 years ago is probably still out there somewhere, whether in the ocean, buried in the ground, or floating on the surface. Unfortunately, millions of tons of plastic are being dumped into rivers, and from there they flow into the oceans. That number reaches 8 million tons every year. Most of this waste comes from Asia, especially China, due to heavy manufacturing and a lack of proper recycling systems. Ocean currents pull the waste in and collect it in specific areas like the Pacific garbage patch. The trash patch there forms because of ocean gyres. The currents swirl and pull everything toward them, like a giant net collecting all the garbage from the ocean. This large patch is actually split into 2 collections. An eastern patch between California and Hawaii, and a western patch near Japan. The water in between acts like a bridge, connecting the garbage from one spot to the other. And it's not just big pieces of garbage. It also contains billions of tiny plastic bits, called microplastics, that are smaller than 5 millimeters. Microplastics come from bags and bottles breaking down under the sun's UV rays and from the friction of the water. The real danger here is that sea creatures swallow them. Fish and birds eat them by mistake, thinking they're food, and even turtles and whales are at risk of swallowing plastic and dying. More than 700 species of creatures have been affected by plastic waste, and some are now endangered, especially after this trash entered the food chain. We eat fish, and that fish may have swallowed plastic. This means, simply put, that plastic is making its way into the human body. Recent studies have found plastic particles in drinking water, in human blood, in the placentas of pregnant women, and even in breast milk. The health effects aren't fully understood yet, but some of the additives in plastic are known to be toxic and have been linked to diseases like cancer. This gyre isn't just a scary sight. It's a real threat to the environment, public health, and the marine economy, and its size just keeps growing year after year. In 1997, an American captain named Charles Moore saw a huge mass of garbage floating in the ocean with his own eyes. He wrote about it, and since then, the world has started to take the issue seriously. An organization called the Ocean Cleanup has started actively working to remove plastic from the sea. They've used nets and tracking devices and created floating systems that collect the waste. The new system is a floating tube connected to a giant curtain that goes down 3 meters below the surface. It moves in a C-shape. The plan is to clean up 90% of the ocean's waste by 2040. But the real challenge is the continuous flow of plastic from land into the sea. There's no point in cleaning up the ocean if we're still dumping trash into it every day. The solution has to be comprehensive and start at home. Everyone can do their part. Use reusable cloth bags instead of plastic, drink from a reusable cup, and don't throw anything in the street. Kids need to learn about the dangers of plastic from a young age. Schools should be teaching and raising awareness, and environmental topics should be included in the curriculum. Universities can do research on bioplastics or faster ways for plastic to decompose. Some companies have already started producing natural alternatives. There are containers being made from algae, sugarcane, and treated paper. Change is possible, but it requires a collective effort. The media also has a role to play. We need to show people the ugly reality of this. Images of the ocean covered in trash might just shock people into action. Even art can contribute. Many artists have created sculptures from ocean waste to raise awareness about the seriousness of the problem. There are also organizations that collect plastic and reuse it to make furniture, clothes, or household items. This transformation helps reduce the damage. New technologies are working to break down plastic and turn it into energy or other raw materials. This could help reduce the amount of waste. Governments need to enact laws that encourage recycling and ban the use of non-biodegradable plastic. Some countries have started implementing strict laws, like Kenya, which completely banned the use of plastic bags. The experiment was a success and reduced the amount of pollution. These kinds of initiatives need to be repeated in other countries, especially coastal nations that suffer from marine pollution. Change isn't easy, but it has to start. From our homes, from our schools, from the stores where we shop, from every single one of us. We need to make personal plans to reduce our use of plastic by consciously, throw things away carefully, and act responsibly. We have to understand that the environment isn't one person's property. It's a collective responsibility. Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever felt like you were part of the problem? And if there are any weird topics or historical secrets you want us to talk about, let us know in the comments. We'll see you in the next video.